Okay, I'll start the recording and I'll send you the recording. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. So this is our associate. We are associated with the CAD Center, which is basically prior into the training industry. It's been almost 32 years. They are into the training market. Now Synergy School, which is basically a specialization institute for the project management training. Then we are associated with the Project Management Institute, Microsoft for the Microsoft Project Scrum Study, MSME. We are the Oracle Gold partner, and we are the workforce development partner with Oracle also. So those who have recently joined, good afternoon and thanks for joining this webinar. I just started this webinar. So, so these are basically our services which we do, project management services. As I told you, training on project management tools. We are the authorized seller of the Oracle Primavera also. Then we are the project Primavera or project management implementation services. Like risk analysis, delay analysis, monitoring, controlling, budget, monthly progress report, all these things, services, all these services we are giving to the client. So this was a small introduction about myself and my company. Now we'll move to the our topic called Microsoft Project. So today our topic is Microsoft Project, which is basically a project management tool. So I'm going towards the Microsoft Project. First, I would like to understand from you, like, what is your understanding on the project management? Since Microsoft Project is a project management tool, so first we need to understand what is the project management. Okay, even what is the project management, we need to first understand what is the project. So as per your experience, as per your knowledge, so what is the definition, how will you define the project? So please type your answer into this chat box. According to you, what is the project? So how will you define the project? So every project has start and end date. Okay. Anyone else? Unique product. Okay. Yes. So as for, if I say, as for the PMI, as for the standard, the definition of the project. So project is basically a temporary endeavor undertaken to create unique products, services, and the result. So there are two characteristics which I have highlighted is the temporary. That means your project should always have the fixed duration, fixed start date, fixed finish date. Then only it will be called as the project. The second, which is the important term, is the uniqueness. Uniqueness under your project, whether it's product, whether it's your services, whether it's your any result. Okay, so it should be unique. Every time there should be any uniqueness in your project. If they don't you don't have any uniqueness, then it's not called as the project. It is called as the operation. So every project should have should be temporary, and every project should have the uniqueness under your product, services, or the result. So this is your project definition. Now when you talk about the project management, it's application of knowledge, skill, and tools and techniques. Knowledge which you have as per your experience, skills. Now tools and techniques. So tools basically a software which we have. So we need to apply all these parameters to manage our project, to do the project management. So we are talking about the now today we are going to talk about the tools. Now, before even going to the further on the tools, I will understand now what does mean by the project management. We are talking about the project management. Now, what do you understand by the project management? What we need to manage to complete a project or to successfully achieve what we are going, which is defined in the project or project objective. So, what we need to manage. So, what is your answer? So, what we need to manage if we are talking about the project management? Can you type your answer? Schedule, cost, time, and the quality management. Absolutely right, sir. So the what does mean by the managing a project? So we need to manage the triple constant. It is called as the triple constant. The scope, our time, our cost. Okay, scope, the work which we need to define. The time, the how much time do we require to complete our project. The cost, how much cost do we require to complete our project. So we need to balance all these triple constant and with the quality. it doesn't mean that we balance this triple constant without the quality. We finish our project, we finish in budget, we finished in time, but quality is not there. So every customer, even especially nowadays, expect a good quality product, good quality services. So we need to balance these triple constant with the quality, with achieve the quality. So we achieve the quality to manage by managing the triple constant, that is time, scope, and the cost. So now why we need the project management. Okay, nowadays it's the scope of the project manager is increasing day by day. Even if I talk about the 200 years back, 400 years back, at the time also we were having the projects. The Taj Mahal, it's a beautiful project. Great Wall of China, it's a beautiful project. There are so many monuments are there. The Red Fort is a very good project. The temples in the south, there are so many, they're very good project. So at that time there was no opportunity when you're talking about the project management, but now we have lots of opportunities for in the project management area. So I just want to understand, I want to tell you like what is the reason. So the reason is 3C. So I come up with the parameters. What is the reason? So the reason is the increasing in the 3C, which is creating a huge opportunity in the project management. Now what is the 3C? The first C is competition. Okay, nowadays lots of competition are there. You can take any field, any industry. There are lots of competition, lots of vendor. The best example you can say, you can go into the market and you can see everywhere it's Oppo, Vivo, Oppo, Vivo. So in the mobile phones, you can see the competition. Now customization. The customization means now the customer, they want their own customized product. Now they are not dependent on the company to manufacture something. Even the company are manufacturing as per the customer expectation. They are do the company do lots of analysis what is the customer expectation, and based on that they start the production. Even you can think about yourself, like how you are going to purchase a mobile phone, or how you are going to purchase a any vehicle, or how you are going to build your own home. So first you customize yourself, then only based on the pre parameter which you have set yourself, then you go into the market to see the product which will match your own parameters. So customization basically create a very difficult in managing the project. So this is the second C. The third C is complexity. The complexity, because we have if you're talking about the mobile phone, every 6 months the mobile phone is updating. So the complexity of the project, because of the customization, because of the time shortage, so the complexity of the project is increasing day by day, and because of that there's a huge opportunity in the project management. There's one data that around $15 trillion spent every day on the project. It's a worldwide data. It's accurate data that we are spending this much of amount every year on the projects only. And the last year data was like by 2020. By this year we are increasing like around 5 billion to 7.5 billion on the project. So huge money we are spending, and just assume that even if we are not managing properly, and if it's only 1% the cost, which is not exactly, almost 15% of the project we are over the budget. Okay, that means you can just assume 15% of $5 trillion. So you can imagine how much money we are just wasting without managing the project. So if we are able to manage the project in a proper way, then we can save this money. Okay, now how you can manage these projects. Okay, we are talking about the project management, so we talk about the knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques. So today I'm going to talk about the tools. So if you talk about the project management industry, so we have two tools which we use for the project planning and management. The two tools are, first is your Microsoft project, which we are going to talk about. The second tool which is used in the industry is Oracle Primavera. Okay, so we do we use both the tools, depends on condition to condition, depends on situation to situation, based on different parameters. So every software, they have their pros and cons. In some features Microsoft is best, some features Primavera is best. So both the software have their own features. So today we are going to talk about the Microsoft project. So before going into the Microsoft project, I'll explain like how we are working in this software. So there's a term called project life cycle. So I hope like you may aware of this project life cycle. So there are basically 5 phases. First initiate, plan, then planning, then execution, then monitoring, controlling, then the closing. So when we're talking about the each process, so that means the initiation, the first step, we got the project, we got the tender, we got the LOA from our client. So we got the project. Now we have, okay, what we are going to do. Now we need to plan how we are going to do. So that is the planning, a complete roadmap of our project, how we are going to execute. So that is the planning in the terms of the all three parameters: scope, time, and the cost. Now execution, the third one, execution. What we plan, now we need to execute. Fourth one, monitoring and controlling. When my execution start, the tracking will automatically start. I need to track, I need to track whether I'm on the right track or not, whether I'm executing as per my plan or not. If there is any deviation between plan and execution, what will be the impact? Okay, what will be the forecast value in the tracking? So we do all lots of analysis through the software in monitoring and controlling. And when we talk about the closing, that means when our project is finished, we create reports and all these things in the closing process. So in this software, out of these 5 phases, we use 4 phases. We plan in the software, we execute through the software. Execution means whatever we are doing at this site, all the data, like we have daily progress report when you're talking about the construction site. So we put all the data into the software. So we execute, we monitor, control our project, and we do closing process through this software. So out of 5, 4 we are doing on this software. Now comes to the project management software, Microsoft project. It is software started in 1984. It's by the Microsoft company. It's a PC-based software, and we use for the plan to develop the plan with the resource and tracking progress. So these are the few features. We do scheduling. I'll explain one by one feature how we are executing or how we are plan our project. So these are few features: scheduling, resource analysis, cost estimation, tracking, monitoring, controlling, reports generation, multiple project support. So how you can generate a support from the multiple projects. Now, how it is going to be help organization? It improve productivity through simple and user experience method. It reduce cost, drive efficiency through unified project and portfolio management. It enhance the collaboration and reporting. Okay, so these are the major 3 advantage by using the software in the organization. Now we are talking about the we'll start how we are execute our plan, or our how we will create our plan in the software. The first step is we need to create a calendar. So do you have any idea like what does mean by the calendar in the software? How, why we create a calendar? Any idea? Why we need to create a calendar? You can type your answer. Duration, okay. Anybody else?
Every organization having different pattern of working. They have different working days, different working hours, and
Exactly.
there might be different holidays and etc. etc. So we need
Exactly.
to clarify each and everything.
Exactly. So we create a calendar to define the working hours of each activity of each project. Okay. So in your company, your head office is in Delhi, and your site is at some hilly area. So there's some activity which is running at the office level, like designing, procurement, and the execution at the site. So in the both in a both office, site office, and the your head office, the timing would be different, and for each activity also the timing would be different. So to define the timing, the work duration we call as the work hours, working hours. So we create a calendar. In that we can assign the holidays also. In this screen, if you're able to see, so we have working timing 9 to 1. So working timing is 9 to 1, then 1 to 2 is a break time, then 2 to 6 again is our working timing, and we have the holidays, and it's a 6 days calendar. So if you Sunday, there's a dark dark gray color is there, so that means it's a not working day. So we can define whether it's 5 days working, 6 days working, 7 days working, whether it's 6 hours per day, 10 hours per day, 12 hours per day. Then we can put all the exceptions, all the holidays also, Republic Day, Independence Day, any government or public holiday. Then also you can put the holiday, like let's say every last Saturday there'll be a holiday, or every last Saturday there will be a half day working. So all this exception, all this holiday you can define. So we create a calendar and we assign this calendar to the particular project and particular task. Now the next step which we create is, so this is how you can see. So this is the working timing and this is the exceptions. Now scheduling. Okay, there are few steps before we do the scheduling. Okay, so after creating the calendar in the software, we create the project. Okay, we put all the information about the project name, the project ID, the project start date, and we assign that calendar to the particular what you call project. Now, in the project, we divide our project into the WBS in the activity. So WBS is work breakdown structure. We divide our project into the WBS through the software. Like, you know, if we talk about the construction of building construction project, then we can have the WBS as the design, then procurement, then construction, then MEP work. So you can say department wise, we divide the project. So it's called as the work packages. Then we divide WBS into the task. Okay, each task which cannot be further divided. Okay, so we come up from top to bottom. So this is called as top to bottom approach. So now whatever we will do at the task level, because as the project manager I cannot predict the exact amount which is going to spend in a particular project. Yeah, so we cannot predict the total amount and the total cost of the project, but we as a project manager, as an experienced person, I know how much time or how much cost it will involve for the excavation of 100 meters. Okay, so we do all the work on the task level or the activity level, both are the same. So we will do each and everything on the task level. After defining the task, our first parameter, which is called as the scope, is defined. In this scope, we need to define what we are going to do. Okay, so when we define the task, we have finished our first parameter, that is called as the scope. Now we need to come up with the second parameter, that is called as the time. Now we need to define the time. So as I told you, we cannot predict the overall duration. Although, you know, in the project tender document or the LOA, we will have the an estimated project duration, but we want to come up as the exact duration. So for that, we create the task, we assign the duration to the task. In this screenshot, if there is a project called Liberty Shoe Limited, under this, so each and every activity has some fixed task, fixed duration, whether it's days, whether it's number of hours, whether it's week or month. So you can define that. So let's say fit approval will take 4 days time. So as per your experience, you need to define the duration of the task. Once you define the duration, you need to come up. You need to define the relationship between the task. Okay, what is the relationship? So when we are talking about the project management, so there are 4 types of relationship. First is your finish to start. That means when my first activity will get finished, the second activity will start. So finish to start. Second is start to start. Both will run parallelly. Third is finish to finish. Both will finish on the same day. The fourth one is start to finish, which is a rare relationship. That means the second activity will finish the task only when first activity start the task. So now in the predecessor, if you're able to see in the screenshot, in the predecessor, we have defined the relationship between the activity. After the relationship between the activity, we need to do the scheduling. Now it's a software, it's a automatic scheduling, but we need to understand the concept behind the scheduling. What is the concept of the scheduling? So everyone, you might have heard about the critical path methods, PERT CPM. If you know what is the PERT CPM, or if you have heard about the PERT CPM, please type yes in the chat box. Anyone else? If they have heard about PERT CPM, yes. Okay. So the software will use CPM method for the scheduling. Okay. CPM is critical path method. So it's a basically network diagram we create, and we do we through the forward pass, backward pass, we find out the critical path. The software will use this CPM method to give you the schedule. Software will give you automatic, but you need to understand the concept behind this. Now, once we do the scheduling, software will give you 5 parameters. Now, what is the 5 parameters? Okay, so what is the 5 parameters are? The first is the total duration of your task. So let's say in this project, 23 days. This is the total duration of your task. You have given duration to only the activity, not the WS, not the project. So by assigning the relationship and by after the scheduling, you will get the total duration of the WBS, total duration of the task. The second thing is the start date and the finish date of the activity. You will get what is the start date, what is the finish date of each activity. When we create the project, we just give the project start date. Okay, on this particular date, I'm going to start this project. You are not giving each and every activity start date and finish date. So based on relationship, based on duration, the software will give you a start date and the finish date of each activity, each WBS, and each and the projects. The third thing, the software will give you the critical path. What is the critical path of your project? So if you're able to see the screen, all the red lines are your critical path. Okay. Now the fourth thing, what is the critical task? What is the non-critical task? The software will give you in your complete activity. So if you have thousands of activity, how many are the critical activity? How many are the non-critical activities? Now, what is the critical activities? Critical activities are those activities which don't have any buffer time, which are critical in nature, and your priority should always be on the critical task. Don't have the buffer time
There
means.
is one question from my side. Can I ask?
Sir, can we take question at the end of the session? I think that would be,
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
So, yeah. So critical tasks are basically those tasks we don't have the buffer time. That means if we define, when we plan, if we define that we are going to finish this task in 2 days, in the execution, we have to finish this task in 2 days only. If we delay beyond 2 days, our project will get delayed. So this is the critical task. Whether non-critical task, they will have some buffer time. Okay. So let's say we have some non-critical task which will show in the in the Gantt chart. This is the Gantt chart. So all the red line are your critical task. If there is any blue line, then it will be a non-critical task. So always non-critical task, you will have some buffer time. That means you have 2 days as a buffer time, and your planned duration is 2 days. So can everybody can mute themselves, because there's a a disturbance is going on. So I request everyone to mute yourself. Okay. So yeah. So non-critical tasks. So let's say you have a 2 days as the buffer time, and your planned duration is for the 5 days. So if you have a 2 days buffer time, that means you can delay this activity by 2 days. That means instead of 5 days, which was your planned duration, you can finish this activity in 7 days. By delaying the 2 days time, your project will not get any affected. Okay, your project will not get delayed. So the buffer time we got in the terms of slack. Okay, the fifth parameter is slack. So we got the slack. So after the scheduling, we got 5 parameter: duration, start date, finish date, critical path, critical task, non-critical task, and the total value of the slack. I hope till now it's clear to everyone. Okay, so that is our scheduling. So now we have defined the duration. So that means our second parameter, which is called as time, we have defined that. Okay, now as of now we have defined what we are going to do, how much time will it take to complete this task. Now what is the cost and who is going to execute this task? Who's going to execute in this task? We have the term called resource. Okay, when you're talking about the resource, so how many resource we have in the project manager? Any idea? Or what is called as the resource? So now I'm talking about the resource management. So what is the resource? What type of resources we use in the project management? You can type or your answer if you know. Team members. Okay.
Man, material, machinery.
Exactly. Okay. So when you're talking about the resources, so there are 4 type of resource we used is the project: man, machine, material, and the money. Okay. But when you're talking about the software, we define in the 3 terms. First is your work, second is your material, third one is your cost. So your man and machine, man, any labor. Okay. Your labor, non-labor, engineer, supervisor, project manager, every manpower comes under the work. So here, if you able to see the screen, so in the type we have 3 type of resources: work, material, and the third one is the cost. So work is the all your manpower, and the machinery, which is non-consumable item, comes under the work. Then the material which is going to be consumed, and the cost which will be a separate cost, like your traveling cost, administration cost, you may have sometimes, many times you have the fixed cost, so that we will define in the cost. Now, first step when you're talking about the resource management, so this is called as the resource sheet. First, as the project manager, you need to define the resource. How many resources do you require to finish your project? So that sheet might goes to the procurement department, that goes to the HR department. To the HR department, okay, I need how many design engineer, how many planning engineer, how many project engineer, site engineer. So we'll define each and every resources in the resource sheet with the all the information, how much quantity I do require, what is the cost. So if you see, this column is the maximum. Okay, your sixth column is the maximum, which is the total quantity of the resource. Project manager, product manager, you require one product manager. Design engineer, you probably require two design engineer. You can put labor, I need require 5 labor, 500 labors. Whatever is the amount, you can put your amount, that this is the amount of the resources I require. Okay, now the standard rate, the rate, because you need to calculate the cost, so you need to assign the rate also. So as a company, as a project manager of the project head, you know what is the salary of your employee, of your team member. So I know the salary of my design engineer, labor, I know the cost of the material, so I can put the standard rate. Standard rate you can put in the number of hours, like per hour. Like design engineer cost is 500 rupees per hour, labor cost is 100 rupees per hour. You can define in per day also, you can define in per week also, and per month also. So based on the standard rate which you will define, the software will calculate the total cost of the project. Now this is the overtime factor. The next is overtime factor. So if the working hours for the resources is 9 hours per day, and if he's working more than that, so we can have this some extra price, extra salary for the resources, that we will define the overtime cost per use. If sometimes we have few resources or few freelancer who once visit our site, they will charge fixed amount. Sometimes we auditor, the quality checker, when they come, they will charge 5,000 rupees per day, whether it's 2 hours working, 3 hours working, or 5 hours working. So per use, they will have some fixed amount, so we can put it here. So first topic is we need to define the resources, how many resources we require to finish this project. The second is we need to define the assign the resources to the task. Okay, now as a project manager, I define, okay, I need this much of the labor, this much of the resources. Now on each activity, how many resources do I require? Probably let's say excavation. On excavation, I require 1 backhoe loader machine, 3 labor, one supervisor. That's it. So activity wise, task wise, how many labor I require? So let's say if I need to paint a wall. So to paint a wall, what I need material, I need a painter. That's it. So in the material, in the machine, you can put as the brush or roller. That is the non-consumable item. So you can define the resources of each activity. Once you define the resource of the each activity, or assign the resource on the each activity, you need to do the resource analysis. Now, what does mean by the resource analysis? Have you any idea what does mean by the resource analysis? Why we do the resource analysis?
To identify the cost of the resource and to calculate the rate analysis of the resources, how much money is required on per capita basis or per day basis, whatever.
That you will get it once you assign the resources. You don't need to do the resource analysis for this.
Okay. Resource analysis to identify the total number of resources that is going to be used in a project.
Yes, kind of. This is so when we're doing the resource analysis, so we have two terms in the project management. One is the over allocation. The second one is the under allocation. So we do the resource analysis to maximize the usage of our resources, to optimize the usage of our resources. So we have two terms: over allocation, under allocation. The over allocation, that means here in this example you have 2 design engineers. But when you assign the design engineer, when you're talking about the real-time project, there are thousands of activities are there where we have 50s of activities which are running parallelly. Okay, so there might be resources where you have only 2 resources in your resource sheet, but at some moment you require 3 person. Okay, normally it happens with the labor. So let's say as of now in this project I have 6 labor, but at some time my 3 activity which is going parallelly, and I do require 10 labor. So that is the over allocation. That means I have less number of the resources and I do require the more number of resources. So I have over allocated the resources. So this is the over allocation which we need to remove. And we need to find out where is the over allocation. So that's why we do the resource analysis. Now that second term is the under allocation, just vice versa of the over allocation. You have 6 labor throughout the project. You ask your HR manager that I need 6 labor in this project, in this sample project throughout the project. But it is not necessary that every day you are utilizing 6 labor. There might be some times where you don't require the resources. There might be sometimes where you have only one usage, one labor which is going to be used. So other resources are sitting idly. So you need to optimize them. So you will have, while resource analysis, you will have the clear clarity where my resource is over allocated, where my resource is under allocated, so that I can manage. If there's over allocated, if I need more resources, I can ask from some other site, or I can do lots of resource analysis method. If it's the under allocation, I can send these resources to some other site. Okay, so we have here we have the resource over allocation tab. Okay, hello. Yeah, so here we have the resource over allocation, like how we can see the over allocation. We can see over allocation by graphical view and by Excel sheet also, tabular view. So if you see, I have 2 design engineers. So I have put it 2. This black label is your limit. So on this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you require 3 design engineer. Instead of that, the Friday, Saturday, then Monday, Tuesday, you require only 1 design engineer. So what you can do, you can probably maximize the usage. On this day, you can ask your manager to have 1 more design engineer, or there are lots of method that is called as resource leveling to remove the over allocation. So we have some method. So you can utilize all this method to remove this over allocation. Also here you can see on this particular day I just need 1 design engineer. So you can send this one design engineer to some other project, or you can assign some other task. So here you can you are increasing the efficiency of your resources by using maximum. So this is the resource analysis and the resource leveling. We need to remove the over allocation. We need to remove the under allocation. Now, once we assign the resources, if you see in the screen, here the resource name. So what I've done, I have assigned all the resources on the specific task. Because we have assigned the cost to the resources, because of that, we come up with the total cost of your activity. So on the product development, I'm going to spend 2,000 rupees. On this material sourcing, I'm going to spend this much of amount, and then what is the total amount of your project, which is 80,200 rupees. So this is the total amount of the project which is required to execute this particular project. So by assigning the resource, we will have the total cost of the project. So now all our 3 parameters, the scope, time, and the cost, which is defined. So our plan has defined. We've done the planning. Now we need to execute our project. Now, when I talk about the execution, I need to update what is actually happening at this site. So normally, like we have a daily progress report through mails or to some other communication media. So we need to put all the actual data of the what is actually happening at this site. Now we need to compare. If you're able to see the gray line, okay, in the Gantt chart, if you see there's some gray line that is called as the baseline. Before executing, we create the baseline. So baseline is nothing but your snapshot of your project. That means you copy what you have planned, because you need to compare what is happening, what was your plan, what is the actual data. So you need to compare. For that, you need to copy your planned data. So for that, we set the baseline. So the term we use in the project management tools, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Oracle Primavera, is the baseline. So we set the baseline before execution. In the execution, we put the actual data. The actual data is, suppose your product development, this task is going to, as per your plan, you have 2 days. So what is the actual data? How much days it took actually to complete this particular task? How many resources I have used in the actual? So I need to put the actual data. So once you put the actual data, the software will give you if you see, this task I have completed 100%, this is 100%, this is 75%, this is 50% I have completed. So the overall project I have completed 66%. I have completed the overall project. So software will give you the what was your if there is any deviation, if there is any change, the software will give you the what is the what was my plan, what is the actual and what is the deviation. Now because of this deviation, what is the impact value? Okay, so which we do in the forecast in the earned value management. So there's a term called EVM, earned value management. Okay, when we do the tracking, we do the forecasting. Okay, what is the impact of the delay on the project? Okay, and what will be the forecast value? Okay, forecast value means the future's value, how much time and money do I require to finish further task. So we do the forecasting through the earned value management. Earned value management is the technique where we have some predefined parameter like our plan value, like our earned value, like our actual cost, what is the budget at completion, what is the estimate at completion, estimate to complete, schedule variance, cost variance, schedule variance, performance index. So like that, we have many parameters. The soft because we are using the software, so it is already inbuilt. You don't need to do anything. You just need to analyze the data, and based on the analysis of the data, you need to take the decision what will be your next step. So let's say out of this, as of this, stage, my baseline cost, my planned cost was 83,200, and as of now, because I have completed 60% work, my actual cost is 50,275. My baseline duration was 23 days. Actual duration is this one. So here you will have what is the EAC. If you are able to see this, EAC is the estimate at complete. That means how much money as of now I required to complete the project, the total project. So your initially planned budget was 83,200 rupees, but now because of there's some delay, you required 89,600. So this is the forecast value. Similarly, we have many parameters where we can find the forecast value of the cost of the time. Okay, so I hope till now whatever I've covered, it's clear to you. If yes, please mention yes. If it's clear for you, please type yes. Okay. Okay. Now, a query I'll take at the end of the session. I know there'll be a query, so we'll take the query. Don't worry. Okay. Now, once we've done the forecasting, okay, we need to find out the reports. Okay, but because when you're talking about reports, it doesn't mean that we need to find out the reports at the end of the project. While some interval, we need to submit the report to our stakeholder, to our client, or to our contractor. We need to submit the reports. So let's say our project duration is 1 year. Okay, so in every 15 days or every 30 days, I need to submit the reports of my what is the situation of the project. Okay, so here the benefit in the Microsoft project is we can create graphical reports and the tabular reports as well. Graphical reports, and the second benefit is, since it's a Microsoft project, Microsoft product, you can link this product with your other application like your Visio. If you don't know about the Visio, Visio is the another application from the Microsoft which is used for graphical reports. Which although we have the graphical report in Excel and the software, but if I want more creative reports, though I can have the add-on features called as Visio. So you can link this project into with the Excel. You can extract your data into the Excel, and through Excel you can do lots of pivot table. You can create through pivot table. You can create the pivot chart. You can do lots of things, and similarly you can assign with the Visio also. Now, in the reports, we have the column called reports, where we can have dashboard report, where we can have the cost report, we can have the task report. So there are almost 20-30 inbuilt templates are there, and you can customize the report. You can completely put all you can add the whatever the data is required, so you can do complete customized report you can generate. So if you see, so we have cost overview reports. What was the total cost, what is the remaining cost, percentage complete, the tabular reports, then the graphical report also. So in the reports we can generate the S-curve also. S-curve basically we need to submit to the projects, like what is the cumulative data of the our project or our work. So I can generate the reports through the software very easily. Okay, so this is basically like one of the report, like resource work summary. So how much resource our resources have worked, what was their planned work, what is the actual work. So I can compare the what is my plan percentage complete and what is the actual percentage complete. Through the reports I can generate this. Now, what is the benefit of using this software? It's very familiar software. Why familiar? Because it goes from the long back we are used to work on the Excel. So it's like Excel. It will give you the feeling that you're working on Excel. So it's very familiar. It have very familiar user base, save an effort and time. Definitely, when even I started my career, I used to do planning on the Excel. But when we started working this software, so it definitely save time and the effort. The flexible and powerful. It's easier to see and share. You can share with the other application. You can save your project. You can convert into the PDF file. You can convert into the Excel. Collaborate with others. You can collaborate this application with the other software. Like in some company, if, in a big company like ABB, L&T, Tata Projects, so they use us a different software for the different department. HR, for the HR department, they have a different software. For procurement, they have SAP, which is ERP software. So you can link this software with the other application. It will help you to grow capability. It will help you to enhance your performance. When we talk about the industrial application, there's a myth. I've seen. When you're talking about the project, we have one myth called when you're talking about the project, it is related to the civil only. So the application of this software is not limited to any particular industry. You can use in the any industry: IT, software, manufacturing, engineering, construction, defense, procurement, healthcare, oil, gas, telecommunication sector. Even I have personally given the training on the MSP to the BPO. So in the BPO sector, we also use. One of my client is using one of my friend basically is using MSP in their. He's a wedding planner. So he used this software in the wedding planning. So we can use this software in our daily to day life also. We can use in any field. So it's not typical industry specific. You can use this application into each and every industry. So this is basically out of 400 engineering construction, 350, 375 they use project management software. Out of 20 they use software. 17 they use software. Top 10 out of top 10, 9 company they use this software. Out of 16 they use 12 they use this software. So this is the data. If you're looking for a job, so this is as a fresher, as a few experienced person, if you have some site experience, then you can learn this software, and this is the job titles on which you can work as a project coordinator. You can work project scheduler, planning engineer, PMO consultant, support engineer. You can work as a project lead. You can work as a project manager. This is how we can use project as per industry. When you're talking about the architecture, engineering, construction, a software will help us to improve the coordination and the collaboration. Now, what is the meaning of the coordination? Because when you're talking about the industry construction, we have so many subcontractors. Nobody is working alone. Okay, we have separate vendor for painter. We have separate vendor for carpenter. Then HVAC work is done by someone else. MEP was is done by someone else. So we have so many contractors are there. So if all this started working, the software will help to improve the collaboration. And if we improve the collaboration, definitely there will be less claims. Less. Blame on each other, like this is because of this delay is because of this delay is because of your. So while while using this software, it will help to improve the collaboration between the teams. When you're talking about public sector, again in the public sector, lots of subcontractor vendors are there, so it will increase the accountability and the requirement. When you're talking about the oil gas, in the oil gas section, every 6 months we'll have the maintenance a time period of the 7 days or 10 days probably. So we need to maintain, we need to do everything in this particular time. So it will help us to manage a short duration high intensity project. High tech manufacturing, it will help you to collaborate across your global supply chain. So you can use this software in the supply chain management process. In the IT, it will help you to optimize assigned resources. It will prioritize your work. And when we are talking about the India, now the scope of this software is increasing. Even Indian government are working in the direction that every organization has to use this software. So I just for proof, I'll just take the snapshot of one CPWD manual where they have put the clause. If your project cost, if you're a CPWD, if you're working on CPWD, and if your the project cost is more than 5 CR, you have to use the MS project. And if it's more than 20 CR, then you have to use Primavera. Similarly, in the NHI, for highway construction project, everybody has to submit their schedule on the MSP. Okay, so now when you're talking about the Indian industry, about the infrastructure, whether it's highway, building, they have to use this software. Without this software, nobody can work now. Okay, so if I conclude the overall, this webinar, so about the software, we use this software for project response so that we can use resources effectively. We can track the project, we can prioritize our effort, we can collaborate with other features, other application, we can manage this project profitably, we can review and prioritize organization-wide projects. This is the conclusion. So this was a base, the introduction about the software. If you want to do the training, so we have the online training options also. We are doing 5 days training, weekdays we are doing weekend training also. It's 4 days, 2.5 hours per day training. Okay, so this is the topic which we cover in the training. So the introduction about project management, MSP, calendar, what are the different types of calendar, how to define, how to assign the calendar, work breakdown structure, task and its relationship, what is league lag, what is unlinking the task, what is the critical path, how to calculate manual critical path also so that you will have the clarity, what is the types of constraint which you can use in the project, how to define and assign the resources, how to do resource analysis and the leveling, how to do leveling, types of leveling method, then tracking, updating the task in a different manner, unvalue analysis, how to use filter and groups for different purpose, how you can link multiple projects. Okay, so how to do customization and formatting based on different requirement, and what is the reports, type of report, how to create visual reports also. If we talk about the fees, our fees for this program is 12,900 plus GST. These are regular fees, but now we are having the fees which is 4,500 or $65 for this course, which will include your training, which will include your the course material, which will include your certificate, and it will be like lifetime support. Whenever you have any doubt, you can ask the trainer for your doubts. So, and so this is from my side. Okay, and if anybody is interested, to know more about the details, I'll put my number here. They can contact me. Okay, so this is my number. If anybody is interested, they can contact me on this number. I am available on WhatsApp. They can WhatsApp me. They can text me. Okay. And tomorrow if you really want to learn more, tomorrow we are giving the Primavera webinar, Oracle Primavera webinar. We are doing tomorrow on the same timing. If anybody is interested to attend this webinar, you can contact on this number. We will send you the link. Okay. So this is from my side. Thank you all. Now I can take the question answer. Either you can unmute yourself or you can type in the question answer. We will take your question answer. If anybody have any query, you can ask.
Can we use MSP for PERT or CPM and PERT and CPM both, or only for CPM?
So software they will use automatically. They will use the CPM method. Well, every planning software, whether you take MSP, whether you take Primavera, whether you take Asta Power Project, and there are small few software also. So now PERT is nobody is using. So the software is planned like that. They'll use CPM method to give you the scheduling. So it's completely inbuilt process. You don't need to do anything. It's completely automatic process. You just need to put the data, and software will give you scheduling based on the critical path method. So you don't need to.
Is there any other software? Basically, there are some projects that that can be planned or scheduled only through PERT. That is especially a research project or any other projects like that. Is there any other project, another software in the market that can be used for PERT?
No. In the market, 99.9% market is using two software only, either MSP or Primavera. There are very few customized software which is used by few industry only. But if I say 99% the company they use these two software where it's research project also. In the DRDO also they use this kind of software. We have given training in DRDOs. They use MSP or Primera only for their projects.
Now another question that can we do resource smoothing and resource labeling on the software, both the software or only on any one software?
No. We do resource leveling in the both the software. In every software, I would say. Even for the resource leveling, there are basically two way. The two ways are one we can do is manual resource. We do manual resource leveling. We do automatic resource leveling. Okay, so automatic resource leveling, we just click one button and the software will calculate. Will remove over allocation and everything. But practically, we don't suggest to go for the manual for the automatic resource leveling. We always prefer to do the manual resource leveling because of some reason. Because if you do the automatic resource leveling, the software may affect your schedule, may affect your relationship. So to avoid all this conflict, we always prefer, because when we do the resource leveling, we need to do lots of analysis. Okay, if you go to training, we are spending only one lecture only the resource analysis, because we need to analyze lots of factor how we can do. There are method of the resource leveling. So we always prefer to do manual resource leveling, but in each and every software we do resource leveling, and we have the option called as the automatic resource leveling also.
What are the advantages of Primavera over MSP?
The advantages, if I say advantages, are Primavera is basically used for the large project which will have more than thousands of activity. The second advantage is the Primavera will give you like if you want to actually utilize the project planning and management, then this Primavera is the best one, because it will give you in-depth planning analysis. Then about Primavera, they will have many advanced feature like dashboard planning. Then there's so many advanced feature also. The second thing, the other thing, you can collaborate Primavera with many other application also. So if you really want to understand the difference between MSP and Primavera, you can attend tomorrow session where you will understand. Yeah. So what are the job opportunity? Did you provide any job assistant? We do provide this job opportunity, but as of now, because of this situation, we are not committing to anyone because there might be delay. But yes, once everything the situation will be normal, definitely we are helping. We are helping. We are giving the job opportunity. It's like 100% assistant we were giving, but now the situation is not normal, so we cannot give you any kind of commitment that we will help you. But yes, if something will come, definitely we can assist, because before the lockdown, the main business is coming from corporate. We were doing the corporate training only, so we have the links. We have so many contact in the corporate where we can refer you. But if I talk the commitment, as of now, I cannot give the commitment. Once the situation will be fine, then we can give you the commitment. Any other query?
There is one more question. As we were talking about, there is a baseline, and in parallel to the baseline, we enter the data as per the execution over the site. The data entered as per the execution would be in a percentage, or we will enter the data in the same pattern as we are creating our baseline, or we are scheduling or planning the project.
We are putting the data not in the percent. You can put the data in percentage also. So there are different method. When we are talking about the these things, the method you can put the data into the percentage wise also. You can put the data in the days wise also. Days wise, like let's say there's one task. Let's say there's an excavation. Okay, even you can put in number of hours also. Let's say there's an excavation. As per your plan, you need to finish this excavation in 10 days by the two resources. So you can put your data per day, how much number of hours your resource has been worked, how much duration you took to complete this excavation. It's supposed to be finished in 10 days. How much days you took. 11 days, 12 days. So you can put your data in percentage wise also. You can put your data in the number of days wise also. So when you are talking about the update, we calculate the update in the three parameters. First is your percentage complete as per duration wise, a percentage complete as per your work wise, the percentage of completion as per your physical view. Okay, physically you have verified how much percentage it is actually completed. So when we update it, when we calculate the percentage completion of our task, completion of our project, so it is basically three types: percentage complete, that is duration, work, and the scope wise, you can say.
In any project, when we plan and schedule as per our own experience and the data available, and after the planning we find that the schedule has gone more than the planned days. Means we were thinking that the project will be completed within a year, and the now project is completing within 500 days. Then in that case, what is the best option? Whether to reduce the project every activity in a similar percentage, or to go through the project one by one activity?
There are 3-4 options. See, this is basically the complete analysis process. That's what we teach in the training.
Okay.
I would suggest you to keep these three parameters in the mind: scope, time, and cost.
Okay.
So as per your condition, we need to see do we have the budget to if let's say I increase the budget. Okay, so if I increase the budget, then what I'll do, I'll reduce the duration by assigning more resources, or even I'll try to run the some parallel activity. In that case, I will define the what you call. Just give me 1 minute. I'll define the redefine the relationship. Okay, so we can reduce the duration by increasing the cost, by redefining the relationship, by assigning some other resources. So there are several methods how you can do that, that we basically teach in detail in the training. But yes, there are several methods. We need to check each and every condition. Based on that condition, you need to do these things.
There is any single command also, so that we can do the same things by entering few number?
Yes, single command is there, but we always prefer when you see for training wise, you can use single command. Okay, but if you want to really utilize in your actual project, then I would suggest for manually, because we need to change 2-3 parameters. We cannot say that we directly we can reduce the duration, and we can increase the cost. So as the project manager, I can analyze lots of data. What data is important, how to do this. Based on that, we will do changes. So we should do always manual changes. But yes, there is a process, there is a system how you can do it in an effective manner, so that you can save your time also. So that basically we do in teaching.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Is there any other query? If there's any query, you can unmute, or you can type in the chat box. So I'll just copy my number again. So if you have a further query also, then you can contact on this number. This is MV Kumber. You're asking privately question. If you have any question, in your mind, you please contact on this number. We will clarify all your doubts. So I think if anybody has further query, then we can proceed, or otherwise we can close this session. Anyway, again, I'm repeating, if you have any query, you can please contact me on this number. I am always available. So I hope everyone is clear. Okay, so I'll just finish with a small note. I'll again thank you everyone who's attending this webinar. I'll share the recorded session with you also. If you want, I can share the PPT also. Thanks for attending this webinar. I'll just close tomorrow. I'm going to give another webinar on the Oracle Primavera. If you really want to understand what is the Primavera and what is the difference between MSP and the Primavera, please join. You can join this webinar. So again, it's a free webinar. To attend this webinar, to get the link of the webinar, you can contact me on the same number. I will send you the webinar link. So for this note, I'll just take thanks and I'll just close this.